What's up YouTube? I'm Michael and behind the camera is Ellie. We are the Bill Paying Hobbyists. Last Christmas, Ellie bought me this chrome workshop pencil kit and I finally get to make it. So I'm going to pair it with this Mora hardwood. Mora is also known as Guatemalan tigerwood, Nora, the Kama, or Bakuba. Just a little info. I can't wait to get this one finished. A quick cut on the bandsaw and we can get it drilled. Let's get to it. Here we are at the bandsaw. We're doing the workshop pencil kit. This is the tube for that. This is the Mora blank I'm going to use. I'm going to use this jig and I'm going to zoom you in so you can see how it works. Alright, so this nice little jig, I can take my tube, I set it right there. This is my gauge, I set it here. And then I set my blank here and it will cut my blank the right size for this tube. This is a gauge so I can make it just a little bit longer so that I have room to square these off. I'll show you how that works later on. So I'm going to pick the best squared edge. That's got a little chip out of it. We can use this side. Alright, so here we go. We're going to cut and make sure you wear safety glasses or something to cover your eyes and your face at all times. Here we go. Alright, so now we have our tube and the blank just a little bit longer, gives me room to square it off. Now all I got to do is go to my drill press, get the right size drill bit so I can drill a hole. Let's go do that. Here we are at the drill press with the woodshop pencil kit, and it's just one tube, one blank, and it calls for an 8mm drill bit. So I need to find the center so I can drill that properly, and that's pretty simple to do. All you need is a pencil and a straight edge. I'll have you zoom in so you can see exactly what I'm doing. The easiest thing to do is just, connect the corners. Take this straight edge, take a pencil, corner to corner, corner to corner, and then I'm going to take my awl that's around here somewhere. Here we go. And I'll make a little indentation right here where the lines meet. Just a little tap with a hammer. And that gives the drill bit something to guide to. Vise, I'm going to use my blank vise right here. I'm going to set this in here. And I don't want it too tight, I just want it tight enough to hold it. Make sure it's flat all the way down. So it's square with the table, square with that. Put my bit in here. I want to make sure it turns straight. And then it's going to go down far enough to go all the way through my blank, which it will. And then my blank is going to clear. Ooh, that's close. Let's raise this up a little bit. There we go. I want some room. All right. Always good to have a toothbrush around too, so you can wipe away the shavings. Here we go. And make sure you wear your safety glasses. All the way through. Now we can take this over and get it glued up, glue the tube in, and we'll be ready to go. All right, here we are. We're going to glue in the tube into the blank for the workshop pencil kit. And as you can see, this tube is roughed up. That's what you want. Sometimes you'll get tubes that are not roughed up. They're nice and smooth. You need to take some 120 grit sandpaper or coarse, more coarse if you want. Some people use 80, 60. Doesn't matter. Just get it roughed up so that you have these lines. You want something for the epoxy to adhere to. I use epoxy. Some people use CA glue. I don't like to use CA glue. Never had any good luck with it, so I use 2-part epoxy. GB Weld 5-minute epoxy. Mix it up for 30 seconds. Got about 5 minutes working time. It says you can use it after 5 minutes. I let it sit for 24 hours. Make sure you rotate as you go in. Try to get as much even coverage as possible. Gonna have some excess. Let it sit in there a little bit. Make sure it's not poking out the other end, and we're good to go. Bam. Let that dry 24 hours, and then we can turn it. All right, here we are at the lathe. We're getting ready to turn the workshop pencil on this Mora wood. This is gonna be beautiful. So I got my normal setup here. I got the #2 Morse tapered pen mandrel, my mandrel saver. They're both #2s. A couple extra spacers, and I have the bushings for this kit. This is all from PSI, Penn State Industries. And I'll get my vacuum set up and we'll get to turning. So there's a little bit of glue inside the tube on this side, and I need to get it off so that I can get everything assembled right to turn it. I just use a X-Acto knife and just kind of cut away at it till it all comes out. Just take your time and be careful. Blades are sharp. There we go. Make sure there's none on this side. I got a spacer, an old bushing, a new bushing, my blank, new bushing, and a spacer. Bring this over, touches, lock down my tailstock, give this a nice little turn so it's nice and tight. Don't push, don't tighten this up, your tailstock, too much. If you do, you're gonna bend your shaft, and then this thing is just gonna be all wobbly, and it's not gonna look very pretty. So we're gonna get our tool rest set over here. I can do it this way, and I make it so that my chisel rests in the center of my shaft. So it's right at the center of the piece I'm cutting, and I make my tool rest perpendicular, or I'm sorry, parallel to the piece, so I can get it as straight as possible, or however I want to make it. Gives me more room to move. I'm going to set my lathe at about 2600, 2800, turn the vacuum on, and we're going to start cutting. And safety glasses. Whew, look at the grains, that's pretty. All right, so now we need to square up the ends, and I'll show you how we do that. Face plate with a 3/4 inch piece of plywood on it, and some Velcro and Velcro paper. It's 120 grit sandpaper on tailstock, drill chuck, and an off-center jig. Tighten that in. And then I use a punch pin that is as close to the diameter of the tube as possible, so it slides back and forth. That goes in here. And I rest it up against the chuck like that, hold it down, make it tight, nice in there, and this will slide on here. And the object is to get the wood down to the brass tube that's inside on both sides. And it'll square it off and make this perpendicular to the tube. So that way when you put it together, it's nice and tight. I'm gonna put my lathe down to about 1200, turn the vacuum on just to suck up the dust. And that's what you want, nice and shiny on the end of the tube there. And now I need to do that side. So now we're ready to get this turned down to the bushings as close as possible. I'm not going to take it all the way down to the bushings because I don't want to cut my bushings. So once I get it very, very close, then I'm going to swap these out and put some plastic ones on there. All right, that's as close as I want to get. So now I'm going to swap those out and we'll sand from here on out. Some 180, I'm going to use this side because that's old side. As a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to tear this off and get it out of there. I don't want to get any purple in my wood. I don't know what I was turning on that one. And I'll use this little backer piece of plywood. Gives me a flat surface to make that as flat as possible. I don't need this in here because I don't want to get my fingers stuck between. I need to clean the bed. I don't want to get my fingers stuck between here because that would hurt. So let's get this out of the way and we'll go ahead and take the tool rest off and we'll get this in. Here we go. Now that I have both ends down to the right size for the bushing, I can go ahead and sand the rest of this with the 180, and then I'll go to 320, and then I'm going to use a 500 foam pad and then a 1500 foam pad. After each time I sand with each grain, I'll wipe it off, and then I will go with the length of the tube because you see these lines right here, these cylindrical lines. I don't want those. I want to get rid of those. Normally I would fill this with CA glue if it was for a pen, but since it's for a shop pencil, I want to leave it, you know, I want to have a grip on it. I don't want it slipping out of my hand. And that's beautiful. You know what I'm going to do though? I don't want to get it wet, and I'm not going to put a CA finish on it, but I will use my micro mesh. I'm going to do that dry, and let's see how shiny we can make it. I don't need to vacuum on that. Oh, that is beautiful. All right, so let's clean this mess up and then we'll put it together. Generally, there's a little line on that side. That line goes to the outside, so it's gonna go in like this. All right, I'm gonna press it in, but I'm gonna press it all the way down to the end. First thing I wanna do is I wanna camfer both ends of my tube. So I just take a little camfer tool, do that with the brass. So it bevels it a little bit, makes it easier for your fittings to go on. There we go. So take that. Hold it as square as possible. Bring this over, tighten this down, and then I just turn that till it presses in. Bam, that's in there. Now for the other side, we've got a little clip. Oh, that's pretty. I don't see anything I want to hide. Clips are great for hiding stuff. You guys can't see me, it's kind of focused. So the clip goes on there, and then this end cap holds the clip down. Right? Just like that. So, same thing, put that in there like that. Get it up to it, lock that down. And then just press it till it's tight. Bam, done. Get this out of the way. The mechanism. All right, goes in like this. You get there and you screw it in. There you go. And this uses a 3mm lead. You just push, there's my lead. Nice thick lead to use in the shop. Thank you, Ellie. Gorgeous. Here it is, the workshop pencil. Chrome kit on a Mora wood. Not a Mora, Mora wood. Beautiful, it's perfect. I didn't put a CA finish on it because it's gonna be a workshop pencil. It's gonna get thrown around. This one is very smooth. If you remember last year I did one, it was a woody pencil kit. And it wasn't as smooth as this one. This one is really, really smooth. I like how it works. It works a lot better. The release mechanism for the ink is really, really smooth. And the 3mm lead, look how thick that lead is. That is perfect. It's great for the shop. It won't break real easy. So Ellie, thank you very much for this Christmas present that I finally get to use.
You are welcome.
It's awesome. And thank you for watching. We appreciate the support. Please click subscribe, go share, hit the thumbs up. Over 90% of our viewers are not subscribed, so a little click will go a long way. We appreciate the support. Thanks again for watching. Please go do something nice for a veteran today. We'll see you next week. We love you.